Shut up and sit down.
I have come here to defeat you. Oh, well, there's strikes 2 and 3 right there.
Out on that street when my dad let go of the seat, I rode off and down the road. Somehow I never went back home, but I remember what it was like to stride my yellow bike.
Mic check. Check, check, check. How now, brown cow? Here we go. You are listening to the Dialed Podcast with Matt Legrand, Evan Price, Lance Hepler, and Jake Von Turing. Tip of the day: you cannot get to the top by sitting on your bottom. Now, go enjoy the podcast. Tell a friend to listen to our show, and give me, not those other chumps, a solid review.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's tonight's top 10.
To stride that yellow bike. First freedom, second life. All the places I could ride.
Did I leave the stove on?
Hi, and welcome back to the Dialed Podcast. I am Jake Von During, and I'm here with Lance Hepler.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Lance Hepler.
Not freaking Hepler.
For your listening pleasure.
That's Lance Romance
That
style.
is Lance Romance, here for your pleasure.
He hasn't done anything to earn the moniker freaking this past week, so
Or
I'm
Or
romance.
pleasure.
To his left, Evan Price.
Can anybody hear me chewing there? I'm like trying to
Not
see
too bad.
where my head can be, or you're not going to just hear me eating.
Say that one more time.
Can you hear me?
Oh, wait a second. Evan's gone.
What happened to Evan?
Jake's going to time with my chewing today, just shutting me off completely. But yeah, what do we drink? I got a peace tea here. I actually feel bad. As I bought this, I realized it wasn't an Arizona tea, and I've been really pushing for that sponsorship.
You really have.
This might ruin my odds. I
It's
don't
not
know.
It's
helping.
because, were they all gone? Because it is now gone out of business. 'Cause it's too cheap.
No, they're still going
Okay.
strong, okay? They're still going very strong. Arizona, forgive me, please. We'll pretend like I'm not drinking a peace tea right
Just
now.
tell people, it's a podcast. You can just tell people you're drinking Arizona
I'm drinking
tea.
Arizona tea right now.
There you go. One of
Yes.
those big ones. You're really backing the
And we got
sponsor.
Jake over here with enough kombucha to
Kombucha.
to make me have number 2 diarrhea for
Yep.
for a month probably.
Just watching you take in that. Just watching him take in the kombucha.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Have you ever had it before, Lance?
I have not. I just smelled it, and I feel a groove coming on.
Oh.
It's not hard, dude.
What was that?
Oh.
Rumble.
Excuse me for a moment.
And then Matt over here. I stole so many seltzers, so many
That's why
Waterloo
I didn't
seltzers
have
from
any.
you yesterday.
I don't have any of my Waterloo.
I had 3 Waterloo seltzers from
Proud
you.
of you. I'm glad you had some.
So good. Ooh, Spindrift.
This is a Spindrift, yes.
And cracking open that can of Spindrift, Matt Legrand.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? You guys are looking all right. You're looking chipper today. A little bit better than last week. Just a little.
A little sunburn.
Little sun.
Yep.
Little sun's okay.
A lot of sun.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Breaking news from the Arizona Mission Department of the Dialed Podcast.
Oh.
We missed some
We
important results.
omitted some very important results
I
last
did
week.
not. I was not here. Let the record show I had nothing to do with
You
these
had
Arizona
nothing to do with
missions.
this.
Gonna 100% blame it on Dylan Wiggins, right? Because he's not here, so it's
'Cause,
all good.
Yeah, we were all Dylan Wiggined out, so that's why. We were too busy talking about ice cream sandwiches that we
yeah.
did not get to some important results that we missed.
By the way,
Is that technically an Arizona mission
Bailey?
or just no mission?
Step in the studio real quick so we can talk about this, okay? Matt, what were you
Champ
going to
is
say?
here.
I was going to say that I listened to the edit of the podcast, and there was quite a few ice cream sandwich references. It was excellent.
There were many.
Well edited. Well done.
Ice cream sandwich.
That was good.
Hey, Champ, what'd you forget?
We forgot to mention
No,
the...
what did you forget?
Oh, pardon
Oh,
me.
come on.
I forgot to mention the winners of the Oregon Triple Crown Series. Mike Ripley's 5-race series. Even though it's 5 races, it's called the Triple Crown because it's only the best 3 out of 5 results. And the Masters division for
Semantics.
the whole series was won by Dr. Chris Hannell.
Doctor
He did.
Hannell.
He won the whole Masters series. So
man.
we did not mention that before. Actually, you know who took second place? Scott Carroll, another teammate.
Another teammate, Scott
Yes.
Carroll.
Wow.
So first and second in the Masters division for Dialed Cycling.
Does that mean that Dialed's doing okay in the overall?
Yeah, we are still doing just fine in the
Nice.
Obra team bar competition. We're still
Handel
up
and
there.
Scott both are very fit.
Well, Handel did all 5 races. He
Yeah.
won 3 of them and was on the podium for the other 2. So
Yeah, it's pretty good results.
It's pretty good results. So pretty legit.
Yeah. If we were a cross-country team, we'd be doing pretty darn good right now. Yeah.
And we missed not mentioning that, and I got called out by some friends.
You should get called out
Yeah.
for that. Yeah. Dr.
What did Handel say to you?
It wasn't Handel. Handel is about the
he doesn't
least.
care. Yeah.
He's about the least attention-seeking person.
Yeah.
We don't even know his real name on Strava because he doesn't
one
want
knows.
the attention.
No one knows his real name.
He's the
he
complete.
made up the doctor part too.
He's the complete opposite of me. I want all the attention for no good reason.
Yes.
Handel is
Both
the
fun.
Wants
opposite.
none of the
Both
attention.
fun.
Nobody know who he is. I'm contrary to popular belief, I am a big Handel fan. I really, really am.
What's
I know.
not to like?
You know,
We're
I
all
mean, there's
fans.
plenty of things not to like, but there's
These are things I would never tell him to his face.
but I overlook
Never.
most of those, and I do appreciate him.
I will say this. I broke my ribs a couple weeks ago, right? Guess who called me that night?
Handel,
Chris Handel called me out of the blue. Said, hey,
nice guy.
what the hell are you doing? That's
Oh well,
that
you
was
know, okay,
pretty
never
much
mind.
what
He's like, you're an idiot.
sounds about right.
Just wanted to call you to tell you you're an idiot.
So congrats, Handel and Scott, for doing so well in
Crushing.
that series. Yes.
Cool.
Well done.
Champ out for a little bit.
Camp out for a while.
All right, Champ.
Chill.
Get out of here. Hey, how about some
We're
backpedaling?
going to backpedal, then go back to champ. Oh God, guys, I'm not
Could've
sure if I
just-
can handle
we
this
could have
right
just
now.
rolled
Oh.
right into this.
This is,
but
I mean, we're
whatever.
hopping all over the place
Or
right now.
maybe it's not. Yeah, backpedal.
He already stepped out. Yeah.
All I
Champ's
did
gone.
was
Champ's gone for a second.
Go, Matt. Yeah.
I filmed Evan and a guy named Ari Clow came down from Seattle,
We had a fun weekend. I got to see so much Matt.
and I filmed him. I did it.
Yeah.
And I didn't do much biking, but it was also the first week of cross country this past week.
Oh,
so actually, I technically did do mountain biking all week because I took the mountain bike up there. Need to come bring it in. I forgot to bring it in today to get some work done on those brakes, but
Brakes are still fussy on you.
yeah,
They're
they're
not
definitely
too
a mess.
important on a mountain bike. Don't worry. Yeah.
No one needs to brake.
No,
yeah.
no.
But
Yeah.
rode it around Camas High School a lot this past week. It was fun.
Huh.
High school team's gonna be fun. It's not gonna be huge. 70 people on the team.
What is it normally?
100.
There you go, sir.
I mean,
wow.
our record is like 125. So
Holy cow.
125 cross country. 70 still a big team.
70 still big.
Is it kind of on the downward arc from the heyday with all these big hitters, or you still have big hitters?
no, I would call it a rebuilding year.
Let's
Yeah,
take a
whatever
hot
that's
take
worth.
here.
Yeah.
Rebuilding means
It means that we'll go to state, but we will not be. I mean, podium would be amazing
Yeah.
if we podium.
yeah.
So
Everybody need to have their absolute best day.
right.
Excellent.
But it could happen. We have some decent athletes, just not like superstars like we have had in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. Superstars come around every once in a while.
Yep.
Evan Price, backpedal.
Me and Matt spent a ton of time together this weekend. I even went over to his house and took part in the block party, which
We
was
had
an
we had
absolute blast.
For the kids, we had a back to school party, like get
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
All the kids in the neighborhood.
That was mostly adults hanging out.
And the adults were like, yeah, let's do it.
Back to school for the kids with, like mostly. Oh, God, they're whispering over there. I didn't hear anything.
Me either.
Nothing. Just
Anyway.
compare notes.
So there was basically Saturday. Me and Cassie had a guy named Ari Clow. We've talked about actually on this podcast before. Runs a really cool YouTube channel. If you don't follow his YouTube channel, you definitely should because it's a good inside to.
It's also very unique because he like does cool stuff. He does his own music.
Yeah.
He does some different stuff that
Yeah.
a lot of like YouTube channels don't do.
Yeah.
So
And I think too, he's a pretty cool, honest look at like vlog style of what actually it is to be a like any idea of what a professional triathlete is in their early mid 20s. He does a pretty
Right.
good job of showing what it actually looks like.
yeah, he definitely is on the, budget, like scraping by professional triathlete kind of
Exactly.
style of lifestyle. So it's good.
He doesn't have a personal masseuse. There's nobody helping him travel here or there. He does it all himself. And I like being part, me and Josh too have kind of taken on, we like being part of the process of helping some of these guys because it's not easy being in your early mid 20s trying to travel the country racing like this.
True.
So we had a brutal Saturday. It was basically a race simulation day. So big bike workout. I secretly kind of went after Josh's KOM at Frenchman or at the Mike Myers time trial course. I did kind of go after that, but it was in the middle of a 40K effort. So I'm going to say I was not going all out, and I was still 5 seconds short of him. I did not.
Close. Wow.
In my head, I thought I had it. I don't know why my timing was off so much. But like in my head as I'm riding, I'm like, oh, let off the gas. I'm pretty sure you got it. And then because I still had like another 30 minutes on top of that.
So did you guys do an hour cruise and then a 40K hard and then easy and then a couple of 2 minutes? Like how did that work out?
Yeah. So
confused.
we had 4 of us together. It was me, Josh, John Brentonson, and Ari. And John and Josh were kind of doing Kona prep set, but Josh was going to do most of ours with us. He flatted, which sucked, and we couldn't repair it. So he goes back home. Then John is kind of doing his own thing, and me and Ari are like, okay, we're going to do our 40K now. And I've been working in this new position really to try and bring my watts down as much as I can, still stay very fast. So I was ecstatic with the numbers, honestly. But we did 1 hour at like 73 race effort. So I just turned that into 40K because it was just easier for me math-wise just to do a 40K.
Okay.
But I ended up going through the 40K in like 54:30.
Yeah.
So
you had to keep going.
So I averaged 27.3.
Blow right through the stoplight.
Yeah. Yeah. So I averaged 27.3 for that whole section. Then we went easy after that, and then we just kind of like hurt each other basically in little 2-minute intervals of like surge by, catch on for 6x2.
Ended up with decent miles for the day.
Yeah, like 75 miles, like a lot. And then went home, threw on the run shoes, and Ari just went ham on his run.
From the
and his
together,
expectation of his run, I think for anybody who knows running, who listens to this, Ari Clow was an All-American and at Virginia, and also was a Foot Locker high school runner and a 401 miler. So like
talent.
Yeah, this
like
kid
401 high school.
He
or
could have
401?
run pro if he had said I want to run pro, he would have run pro after college. Yeah. That's how quick he was getting. But I'm personally glad he went to triathlon because I think it's cool to see guys like this come into the sport. And so for him, his tempo he wasn't too happy with because he was trying to do 2x4 mile and made it through 1x4 mile and then like 2 miles into the next one. Mm-hmm. But for me, the numbers were still, God, he was just, it's crazy for me. I'm running 540 pace and he's just pulling away from me like nothing. Like it's very, I'm at the point in this part where you got to know your limitations and know just how to train. Mm-hmm. Like how I need to train. And it's very humbling still to, as much as my runs improve, to know that I'm training with guys and around guys that I can run what I think is fast and not even be close, just not even be in the conversation with them. So luckily I feel really good about my swim and bike right now, but the run is, still got some work to do over the years. So it was fun otherwise though. Really, really good time.
Wow.
Yep.
I did the exact same thing.
I'm sure you did. you went 27 north for an hour.
Yeah. I ran 13 miles at about 5:10 pace.
See,
so I was a little off.
This is where I just can't train with Lance yet because Lance is just going to embarrass me. So I don't feel like my ego can handle that yet.
And I did a 20-mile ride where I averaged almost 12 and a half miles an hour.
On a mountain bike, I'm assuming?
No, I don't
Was
know.
that on the road?
It was on the road.
That's hard. That's
Was that
not
Friday?
That's not easy to go that slow.
I'm kidding. I actually rode every day this last week
I saw a lot of uploads.
with with broken ribs.
It's ridiculous.
So
Every
go
day.
figure.
You're not going to take any days off.
I was not good on Monday, not so good on Tuesday. Wednesday, I started to feel a little better. It still hurts and sore, but I'm not like hampered anymore. I'm 2 weeks out.
That's good. There you go.
Yeah.
That like
So-
2 to 4 week time frame is usually a good bet, and you're a fast healer, so yeah.
It was, I was. It's funny because I went to the hospital and saw the doctor, and he's like, "Okay, you're gonna have to take it easy for 2 to 3 months."
Cool. Yeah, you're like,
I went, "What?
Nailing that one.
Months? You mean
Are
weeks?
Serious? You mean hours?"
Also, he's way off on healing time, but that doesn't even make sense, healing time
Well,
period
I
wise.
guess it depends.
Unless he thought he looked at you and he's like, I don't know if this guy's fit or not, but that's
it's possible. That is quite possible.
It's like, with that mustache, there's no way this guy actually rides bikes. He just hit it.
I do not look like I could ride. That's for sure. But yeah, I don't know. It still hurts, but it's not like holding me down anymore. Which
Yeah,
is,
just don't crash, guys.
That's good.
Yeah. So that's good. So I don't know. We'll have to see how it rolls out. But I ended up having a decent week, a great week. I made it on the lab lunch ride, and it was...
Is that hard?
It was actually as prescribed this
What?
week. Nobody blitzed out. It was more or less an upper zone 2 ride that wasn't too difficult, which was great. We had a good time. There's a lot of people there at it. There were no issues like we've had. We've had some like flat and mechanical issues, but that wasn't too bad. That was great. I did not go to the flogging ride because I felt like that was going to be too much for me.
Smart.
So I didn't go to the flogging ride.
I'm sure it was hard.
I did do some work on the trainer.
I think I was going by the flogging ride on that Thursday, just back from cross-country practice or something like that, and it looked like there wasn't a huge showing.
It was a little slow. I don't know what it's been.
Yeah. Maybe you would have been fine.
I don't know. But I didn't go. So
but
you rode
on your own instead.
I actually did a workout on the trainer, which is
who are you?
Strange.
I don't even know who you are anymore.
It's like cross starts like this weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh wait, maybe
are you racing this weekend?
I'm probably going to line up and see what happens.
Just throw some elbows with them, get the ribs out.
It's not so much that. It's like this weekend's race has a long sand section.
Oh, it's at Vancouver Lake?
It's at Vancouver Lake. Yeah, Hetmere.
That's a good one.
It's a very cool course. A lot of long power sections, which is great. Not real complicated, difficult stuff, except for the sand section. There's a sand section where you go. There's a very soft sand section that if you're alone is rideable.
Right.
If you have the right.
It's along the beach line of the lake.
It's not that part's always rideable.
Oh,
it's
okay.
getting down to the beach because the sand is soft.
They always go over that spot and just hit.
That's where all the photographers hang out.
Yeah, it's a great spot to be.
If you want to watch OTB, you want to watch people go over the bars, you sit right there because you'll see it.
Yeah.
So,
what's interesting, there's a cross-country race there on Friday.
Oh, wow.
This is what we've always talked about. Like, we should have cross-country races in conjunction with cyclocross because it's basically same course, and you're going to...
I'm guessing they'll be set... Oh, no. The race is on Sunday, not Saturday.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So there's a cross-country race on Friday. I'm guessing they will do course setup on Saturday after the cross-country race. Mm-hmm. And then the race.
The cross-country race, though, it's how there's like that little gravel path that just goes out, and then you can take a left, and it goes to that like bridge out to the road.
Yes.
So it's this big square, and that's it.
Oh,
and so the cyclocross is totally different, right? Because that's like a whole bunch of windy stuff, and you guys go on that beach. So it is a different course.
But it goes down to the start of that single track section, but it doesn't go down that single track section.
I think that my theory for like how to set up these weekends would be like have a cross country race and then have a cyclocross race on that like course, because you can map it out and almost have the same. I mean, you might have to tweak some things a little bit, make the cyclocross course a little windy, a little bit longer maybe, but I think you could do it. I think that could be like a really interesting, and you could make a lot of money if you're trying to raise money or whatever.
I'm guessing that there will be a big turnout for this race. It's our first cyclocross race in the area. It's the first in the Harvest Cyclocross Series of the year. We haven't had Hetmere for 2 years.
I think that's right.
I think we haven't had the last 2 years. And so...
Has the Dial team been training on that course?
Yeah, that's where the practices are.
Yeah. So it should be good. Interesting. So we'll see.
You guys can swim in that lake afterwards with all the algae.
Fantastic.
Tastes good.
Yes, cool off.
A little bit
Lap
of
it
E.
up.
coli. Bring it on.
On the Columbia side, you're okay. The Vancouver Lake
the
side.
Vancouver Lake.
No,
yeah.
do not do that.
So I rode a little bit there, and then we had a team ride on Saturday, which was just fantastic. We probably had 30 people that showed up.
I think there was 31.
Yeah.
Wow.
We did basically
a rack kind of
the rack metric century route. So it was roughly 60, 65 miles, something like that. No big climbs, but lots of rollers. And it started off fast, but not like super spicy. And then the last 10, 15 miles got a little... There was a section there in the middle by Ridgefield where it got spicy.
Like out in the country?
Yeah, like just south of Ridgefield before you get to between Ridgefield and Felida.
We went really easy until we got to that first regroup, which was about 10 miles, 12 miles or something like that.
Yes.
It was kind of refreshing because that's the first leg of the flogging ride.
And it was
like, I feel so good right now. This is not normal. It just does not feel right, but it's good.
It was good. And then we went fast for a while, and we still had a group of 15, in that front group, which was great until I got popped with not too long to go, but that was expected. So it was good to have a bunch of people just come out and ride together and be able to ride a little faster. We had a B group that also rolled that day. It was just nice to have a big chunk of the team out to ride together. So
That's cool.
it was fun. So yeah, that was me. I rode every day.
Good job, dude.
Broken.
Wait, what did you do? You didn't say yesterday. You didn't talk about Sunday.
I rode up to Multnomah Falls, or not Multnomah Falls. I rode up to Crown Point.
Crown Point.
Yeah.
Some photos? Did you hold your bike over your head?
I did not. I was actually doing sweet spot intervals on the way, so I was trying to gauge my uphills at the right time, and then I was taking side roads, so it wasn't like a direct shot out there. So
you're telling me you did a glorified over-under threshold probably into VO2 on Saturday, and then Sunday did sweet spot?
That's correct.
My God, who is structuring your training?
because this week will be a bit easier because I have a race on Sunday. But it's only 45 minutes. It's a 45-minute race, short race. You got to have that VO2 and threshold.
You're like the Thibaut Pinot of Vancouver. This is massive amount of quality work, but not seeming like the train's going into the right slots.
It's actually, it's not set up for this week's race. It's set up for like a race in like 4 weeks.
No, 365.
Yeah. Well, technically, this is the start of cyclocross. Wasn't the 2022 cyclocross season when we were joking back in like 2019 when you started that cyclocross
No, it
plan?
was supposed to be for last season.
Oh, my bad, I'm a year late.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I only made it halfway before
plan.
my back blew out. So anyway.
Still a big training block to make it halfway through that.
It's all good.
Cool. My week, we did the gravel ride. That was fun until we had a teammate go down, washed out, kind of got a nice little cut and whatnot, but I think he's okay otherwise.
He is okay.
Yeah.
It did get a little infected and have to be opened back up and cleaned out.
Okay.
Ew.
I need to follow up with him.
Yep.
Wednesday ride went well. We were really good about
making
sure that we stayed on task there, and that was well played. The Tuesday ride, though, the gravel ride, those are always a little spicy, too. There's a lot of rollers and climbs and attacks and stuff like that. And I noticed that my right quad had like a little bit of a twinge in it, like a very, very, very mild strain, like maybe like a 1 or 2 out of a 10. I'm like, that's odd. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Didn't even feel it on Wednesday when we did the ride. Went out and did the flogging ride on Thursday. I'm like, oh, there that is again. And it just progressively got worse and worse until the first half finished, put out a bunch of watts and kind of sustained that for a little bit. And like it started talking back to me quite a bit. I'm like, that's not good. And heading back on the leg back, it got to the point where I started pedaling squares and then I had to sit up and kind of just soft pedal it for the most part home. So that was kind of a bummer. And we Friday ride, we did the Foghat ride, again, nice and soft and easy. Could feel it there, but I'm like, I'm feeling good. Went out, did the ride on Saturday, the long team ride. Good for that first leg. Felt fine. Went and started getting a little spicy, and there was a point in time where I put out way too many watts going up a big roller, and again, it started to kind of talk back to me, but it didn't get to the point where I was like, it was a problem. But what I did notice is I had a little bit of discoloration on the inner part of my quad, which tells me a little bit of a muscle tear there.
You tore a little something on that
quad. A little something. So I took yesterday off and went and watched soccer instead. And anyway, that's just kind of sucky. I don't want to have to deal with that right now. So I'm hoping that it's going to be relatively minor.
Did you go watch like the Timbers game, or did you go watch your kids' game? Or both?
I went and watched my daughter, who plays for the Timbers.
Okay, I meant like
the Timbers.
I think your kids went to the actual stadium.
My youngest went to the Thorns game, and they watched the Thorns play the San Diego Wave.
You should know this, Matt.
I know all this stuff. I don't know this stuff.
They went and watched the Wave.
Did they have fun?
They had a blast. Yeah. She went with my wife and one of her friends. They got 3 tickets gifted to them. So they went and checked that out and had a blast and got to see some pretty big names. And it was San Diego's in first place and Portland's in third. So it was a big matchup and San Diego won. So, yeah, good weekend otherwise. So I'm going to go do something easy for my quad and try and stretch it a little bit more and then kind of ease into it this week and see what happens to see if I can maybe take, I guess, my gravel bike because I don't have another option to go race at Mir on Sunday.
Would be a good choice for that course.
It would be, but I don't know if I can get on it if my quad's going to be tightening up. I feel like I always get hurt right before cyclocross season. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. We'll see. Spicy.
Now we're back. We need to go back to Champ. Bring it back in, Champ. Come back in from wherever you've been hiding.
Champ Bailey.
Champ Bailey.
Champ Bailey is here. Have you guys been watching the Vuelta? We are 9 days into the Vuelta. It's about half over the Tour of Spain.
I've been ignoring.
Was
it
today a rest
completely.
day? Because I got caught up to stage 8. I have not seen today.
Yes, today was a rest
good.
day.
I'm all the way caught up. Then. Good.
No stage today. So Evan's favorite
Just say
rider.
Evan's going to have
right.
to have some opinions or feelings on
They're
this.
just once again
Is-
eating humble
is
pie over here. Just
Currently leading.
I have a large humble pie. I'm slowly working through it over the years, and this was a pretty.
Roglic is doing well too, right? Or am I?
Okay, so Remco
He's doing
Evenepoel
well,
is currently in the lead. He extended his lead yesterday.
Yep.
He put like another minute.
He put some time into
his guys.
That climb was ridiculous. That climb that they went. What was the name of that? I butchered.
I
the
have
name
no
of it.
idea.
Dang it. Okay, so the last climb on stage 8 was like repeated pitches over 20%.
Yes.
I mean, it was a
ugly.
monster of
Yeah.
a climb, an absolute monster. The winner actually. So Remco, like Lance said, obviously crushed, but. The winner is a really cool story. Louis Meinke finally got himself a Grand Tour stage win. I've been a big fan of his for a long time. Reason being, he also very openly battled with eating disorders and talked about that pretty prevalently in the peloton. It surprised me. He's older than I thought he was now. He's been around for a while, and he was probably not going to get a contract this year. And then his team, I forget the name of the team. If it says there in the article. Intermarché, yeah. Shout out to Intermarché. Gave him a shot this year, like gambled on him. And he's come out and, I mean, obviously shown him that this is probably one of the toughest stages, I think, in any Grand Tour this year, just with how tough that climb was. So the fact that he gets a win on that day is huge.
How about the Zwift guy who won 2
Jay Vine.
stages
Love Jay
back
Vine.
to back?
Let's go, Jay Vine.
Jay Vine. Well, he's got to be.
He's a tank. That guy
Is he like 22 or 20?
He's not old.
Young.
He's not old. Yeah,
But
he's young.
He went through the Zwift Academy and like
couple
won
years ago,
the
2-3 years
Zwift
ago.
Academy, and so he got offered a contract.
Yep.
And he makes it to
For
the
Alpecin
Vuelta
Phoenix.
for
Yep.
Alpecin. He makes it to the Vuelta.
He was in some classics this last year,
yes,
too. Yeah.
and he won 2 stages.
This is the same guy that we talked about on the podcast.
Legit.
What?
He's totally legit. Yeah. This is the same guy that used a bot to get the Tron bike that he used.
Seriously?
I think it's the same guy we've talked about on the podcast
So that he
before.
could use
He used the Tron bike in a
bike
championship
in
race.
the championship race.
Which I think I don't. They knocked him out for that. They didn't give him. I mean, he like got DQ'd. But
who cares?
But who cares?
He just won
He's a
2
good-
stages.
Well, yeah,
of the
legit-
Vuelta.
because
He's a legit
Alpecin Phoenix
cyclist.
is going to look at that and be like, well, we saw his profile, his power profiles, and we really don't care if he cheated in Zwift or not. Who cares? And that's
well, I mean, he didn't
Well,
really cheat.
no.
In my opinion, I think that was fair.
He just was trying to get.
He didn't
the
cheat in a
Tron bike.
race.
Yeah.
And he is, I mean, when it was, I know I was debating with one of my buddies about this, where I always do agree with Lance that there's like power profiles only mean so much in road racing. Now, in mountain biking, they mean nothing. But in road racing, it's like there's so much more that goes into being a good road racer, obviously. But this dude's engine, when you were watching Zwift, you're like, I don't care if this guy's never ridden his bike outside. I'll teach him to ride a bike outside. His 20-minute engine was insane.
Yeah.
And he's a big dude who could climb. Like,
He's not that big, is he?
He's very
he's
thin.
compared
compared
to
to other cyclists
other
on the-
climbers,
But he's
he
tall.
stands out. He
Okay.
looks like Bradley Wiggins did when Bradley was
Yeah.
winning the Tour. It's like, yes, obviously Bradley Wiggins is very lean, but like was not your built like
not like
Jay Vine
standard.
could jump on the track and be a great 1 hour guy attempt one day if he wanted to. Like that's the size he is.
He's not 5'8", 140 pounds.
No, he's not Egan Bernal. No.
He's currently in the King of the Mountains jersey. He's in the polka dot jersey.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's leading that.
Where's he from again? Is he?
He's Australian.
He's Australian. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
His quads too. Oh my God. When they're watching, just like they have the camera on going up the climb, you just can't help but look at it. You're like, this guy is carved out of stone. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
So we're halfway through the Giro. Remco Evenepoel has 1 minute and 12 seconds on Enric Mas.
Yep.
And almost 2 minutes on Primoz Roglic.
Yeah, it's still okay. I'll
153.
I'll still play devil's advocate. Remco will have a really bad day. One day in the Tour, he's going to have in the Vuelta, he'll have a bad day. If Primoz is consistent and plays his cards right, I think he can bridge that gap back up to Remco.
It should be interesting to see what happens during the time trial. I think there's a
Yeah.
time trial tomorrow.
I think so.
You know what was cool about the Vuelta? They started with the team time trial,
Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
which
cool.
was very cool.
Yeah.
Which helmet is Roglic going to wear? The one that sits like on his
It's way in the
back of his head.
His receding hairline helmet.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like how we used to wear baseball caps back in the 90s.
Yeah. But I'm not sure if Remco's going to. I think Remco actually still put time into Primos on the TT. I'm talking about
possible.
later into the mountains. I think he might struggle. Remco right now is, for the next 4 to 5 days, Remco looks like he is very fit.
Do you still have the same opinion on him as a person?
Oh, he's a huge a-hole. He is. He's a clown. And okay, I'm not the only one who says that. They even
He's
during
22.
the
He's
they
very
even
young.
during the like during the broadcast we're talking about that. They're like, "Oh, this young Belgian. To be honest, most of Belgium really doesn't support this young man, but he's showing them wrong right now." I was like, "Yeah, because he's a clown. That's why."
Well, he was like, named the next Merckx. He was going to be Belgium's next Eddie Merckx, and then he
Too much pressure.
he did some dumb things.
So is everybody who rides fast in Belgium, though, unfortunately.
Right.
What a terrible country to be a good cyclist in. You're like, man, I can't wait to start my
Very
pro
hard.
career. They're like, you're the next Eddie. If you screw up, we all hate you.
So
you have to win everything or we don't care.
It has been exciting racing. It's been fun to watch. It's been on Peacock and on NBC or
Right.
CNBC. So it's
Good coverage.
and the commentators are Bob Roll and Christian Vanderveld. So it's actually it's good
stuff, yeah.
commentating.
Love me some Bob Roll.
Yeah. So that's been fun. It's also been fun because I've been to a few of those cities that they rolled into. I did a hiking tour like 15 years ago through northern Spain. And so
Nice.
I
I
actually
wonder if I was there at the same time as you
it's possible.
Yeah, you were in Spain too.
in northern Spain.
But you were down in Madrid.
Well, I was in
you were
northern
all
Spain
over.
also. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's possible.
San Sebastian's like one of my favorite towns.
We spent time in San Sebastian.
It's an awesome. That's like my favorite place, right?
It's like the little
I still wanna go
coastal
back.
town
Yep.
with this little like medieval center.
Yeah.
It's a very cool little town.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty
It's
awesome.
worth hanging out.
Yeah. Yeah, and Bilbao, which is
Yep.
also a very cool town
Yes.
where there's that Guggenheim Museum.
Guggenheim Museum did that.
And LaGuardia, which is in the La Rioja area where this very famous wine comes from, which I
Not
have,
the airport.
Not the airport. But LaGuardia, it's like this walled city, like up on this. That's the stage that Roglic won
Gotcha.
with
Yep.
that with short,
Yep.
steep pitch at the end. It ended
Cool.
in this little town that was it's like this little walled city that's like up on this bluff. It's very cool. We've been there as well.
He gave a little tease that stage where all of a sudden I was like, oh yeah, Roglic
I'ma
is
go get that.
he's back. He's back.
I think
Maybe.
Roglic will pull this off. He'll be able to.
You think he'll still?
Yeah, I think so.
I'd like to still sit here and say he's going to win.
I think so.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to see because he's won it.
I just don't want to see Remco
3
win this.
times.
Would this be the third?
This would be 4.
This would be
I
4.
believe.
Yeah, he's won it 3 times.
Dang.
So that would
I
be.
think Contador's won it the most. It's either Contador or no, I bet it's Contador. That would be my guess.
Question.
Contador won the Vuelta a lot.
We also had our World Championship mountain bike cross country in.
That was
I don't know,
not won by Tom Pidcock.
So,
Shockingly.
so
I thought
Pidcock,
for sure he was going to.
he was in it. He
Yep.
wanted to. He was going for it. Pidcock ended up 4th. So he was close,
Still, good
just
season.
off the podium. He there was a couple of it was quite a technical course, like big rock gardens and tricky stuff between trees and all this stuff. And
I couldn't have made it through a single lap.
And Pidcock just turfed it like a couple of times on lap 6 and lap 7, and
That's
just
all it
lost enough
takes.
time that he missed the podium. It was won by Nino Schurter, his 10th time.
Wow.
He has won the World Championships 10 times. In
I was
cross-country
looking up
mountain
some
bike.
stuff on him. He's widely accepted as the best technical mountain bike rider. They said that guy's capable of riding up the side of a wall.
He's
And it's
amazing.
just, yeah.
He's a Swiss guy.
He's an athlete on the bike.
Yeah.
Like, you
Is he
watch
riding?
him move.
He rides a BMC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He rides the BMC
4-stroke.
4-stroke. Yeah.
It's a great bicycle. But
Actually,
also, that guy could ride a
on the new one.
BMX bike
Yeah.
and probably be in the top 10 still.
Still pretty
The
amazing.
women's side won on a BMC too.
Yes, the women's side
Same.
was won by Pauline Ferrand-Prévot. She's on a BMC. She's the French athlete on a BMC.
I was going to say if she was Swiss. I was like,
I know.
Swiss
no,
just
but
dominates
you know who
everything.
was second?
A Swiss?
A Swiss. It was
A
what's her
Swiss.
name? The
I'm pretty sure Switzerland has
blonde.
great mountain biking,
White.
so it doesn't surprise me that there's a lot of good Swiss.
Yolanda
mountain
Neff
bikers.
was second,
Yolanda, yeah.
and third place, American Haley Batten.
Nice.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so very exciting for that to happen.
Very
So
cool. Very
American made the podium in the World Championships.
Mm-hmm.
In the short track, there was short track race, and the defending world champion was American. What's his name? Why can't I think of it right now?
Come on, Lance.
I'm in big
I mean,
trouble.
champ.
But
What are we talking about?
he the world short track
Wasn't
champion.
Lachlan.
No.
Lachlan wasn't over there.
No, the American. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna blow it. Anyway, he was on the. He was even with the guy in the lead, and in one of the rock gardens with like 200 meters to go, he turfed it and like had to walk his bike in.
Oh, you like broke the bike?
He just like crashed so hard he didn't make it.
Ow.
What's his name?
I'm looking it up. Hold on.
Everyone that's listening to the podcast
Why can't I
is
not
like,
think of it?
While
I
they're
didn't have it
going,
up.
it's
while they're going, real quick, Matt, in triathlon in Bergen, Norway, there was a World Cup race actually, and the Norwegians did not win. Actually,
that's news when
it is.
The Norwegians
That's the only way
don't
it's
win.
news. Christian Blumenfeld still had a great race. He was in second, but did get out sprinted by a Frenchman, Konix, who's very, very fast right now. Yep.
Do you think that because he's young, right? You think he's like the next big thing?
Konix
like-
has been quick for a little bit. I'm not sure if he's quite that next level speed, but we'll see. We'll see. He's going to be a threat for
I feel like
World Championship.
France needs someone.
They do, because Vincent.
I haven't seen what he's been up to lately.
I haven't either. I think he's going to be doing Super League coming up. I hope he stays on the gas, and you can only be so fast in
he
short.
dominated
in
for
short
like a couple
course, you can
years.
only be so fast for so long.
A couple years is like the most.
He probably needs to start transferring over to long course here soon.
He should be, yeah.
Yeah. I just think you got like a 4 or 5 year window, unless you're Mario Mola, who somehow held on for a long time. But like,
That's true.
Usually you got like a 4 or 5 year window, and that's like, all right, this is really hard racing. You need to.
Well, I wonder if there's enough money from the PTO to draw some of those guys.
I think there will be.
That seems to be the case.
I think there will be. We also had an American.
Christopher
in the top
Blevins.
10.
Christopher Blevins.
Christopher Blevins.
Okay.
There you go.
Don't know why I couldn't come up with that name.
I was going to help you.
Yeah.
Oh, we're mountain bike pros over here.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have to. Evan has kind of done a mountain bike race.
Look at his shirt.
I have the shirt from the race I did half of.
Do we need to get a piece of tape on there? Cross out the 100, put 50.
Yeah, put out the 100.
150.
That was
Scratch it
guys.
out.
Was actually,
Give me-
I was talking with I was talking with David about wearing it. I was like, "Sure, am I allowed to wear this shirt?" He's like, yeah, I think so." I'm like, I don't feel good wearing this in public. I'm just gonna wear it to maybe
Just at the podcast.
just to where I'm not being
Not in
filmed.
the
Give me-
public. Not in public. Just
Jake,
the
give me a Sharpie. I'm gonna fix that thing.
Yeah, I know. I'll tell you what. There's the first person. How about this? The first person on our dialed team that goes and does the full Telluride 100. I will gift you this shirt. You get the shirt. I'll give really.
deal.
I
Really,
think they'll
I'll
have
do
their
that.
own shirt at that point, Evan.
I'll give you an
have two,
extra
though.
shirt. You get 2 of those shirts then.
never bad to have two shirts after doing a 100-mile ride.
Cool. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Cool.
I'm sure I've missed several things that people
Probably.
remind me of.
Probably.
Good times. Good times. Well, boys, you guys want to do a little bit of that hot seats? No, you know what? As we promised last week, we're going to do a Patreon drawing.
Patreon drawing.
We're going to, I think, Lance, you want to talk about what the Patreon drawing is going to be for this week?
The Patreon drawing for this week is the Beef Mountains poster made by Dylan Wiggins last week, which was very cool.
It was incredible.
is
It was the
custom
cover
made.
art for the podcast last week. If you look at the thumbnails,
Was amazing.
Yep.
Did you see a picture? You can see this picture. It's amazing.
yeah.
It's hanging up in the lab here.
Okay, good.
Near the bathroom, just in case you.
if you want to come swing by the lab and check out all the posters there. All right, so go ahead and shake them up really, really good.
I'm shaking it up.
All of the Patreons in there.
Evan, pick one. No, pick one.
Yeah, there you go. Pick one out. Perfect. All right. Drum roll, please.
Who's the winner?
Who is the winner here? Evan's got a mouthful of like potato chips and
All right, there we go. The Beef Mountain poster is going to Beef Mountains.
Oh, Mike Ivan.
Mike
Ivan.
Ivan, winner of the Beef Mountains poster.
And newest, latest, and greatest Patreon.
Also the latest Patreon.
That was completely fair.
Yeah.
It was
Let the
in there
record
with all
show.
the other ones.
It was in here.
I chose it too. I didn't know the history here. Mike, you're very
We
lucky.
noticed, yeah.
Congratulations, Mike Ivan. Get yourself
I'll
a
put
Beef
that in
Mountains
the
poster. Very fitting.
Winner's bag.
Awesome. All right. Well, if you're interested in becoming a patron to get in the drawing, we've got a few more of these posters to give away. You can go to dialpodcast.com and click on the Patreon link and go there and choose a Patreon that works best for you. We would really greatly appreciate the support. Helps keep this little dog and pony show going forward,
Yes,
right?
it does.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Let's kick on.
Now we move into something a little warmer, maybe a little hotter.
Ooh, yeah.
So hot, you gotta listen naked.
Let me take my pants off.
It's gonna be hot.
So hot, you gotta listen naked.
Laying down
what's hot.
It's hot seat, guys.
I
It's
can't
a hot
really
seat.
call it that hot because my question's not very difficult.
It's not that difficult.
It's not intense. It's not gonna make you sweat. It's hot.
I'm already sweating because it's a little warm,
It's a little
in
warm
here.
in here.
Do you want to kick us off, Matt? You want to go
Yes.
first?
Yes.
Hold on.
That's hot. That's really
That's hot that you want to go first.
As
All right,
the
let's do it.
hot weather begins to elude us and we move into winter cycling
No, wait, dude.
stage.
It's going to be 97 degrees here tomorrow.
You're
97
killing
tomorrow.
my question,
I know.
Jake. You're not helping my point.
You're talking about crappy weather, and I don't want to talk
What
about it.
kind of Zwift features would you guys like to see in the near future? Let's say the next month or two when they kind of gear up to post some new releases for the winter training season.
Can I go first?
Go ahead.
I want to see more autonomy for us to be able to better construct team or group related activities. I want to be able to set up my own race. I want to be able to have more control over the rides. I want to be able to set up different things that you see sometimes happen some places, but I don't know. I just feel like the group component has been slowly rolled out over the course of time. Too slow. They haven't invested enough in that, and that's something that we use all the time. I think it's got a huge, tremendous amount of value there, and I think that they need to give us more abilities to do more things so that we can want to keep people around, because there's going to be a strong push from folks to want to go to RGT because they think it's a better experience there for group stuff. So,
Do you think, okay, is there an option to do this right now? Because mine was going to be something I'm not sure if you can actually do. If you make your own group ride, can you create a route that goes from like a couple different worlds, or do you have to choose? See, that's what I don't like.
One specific world.
I wish I could do like Santa Sequoias and then randomly go up Alpe d'Huez Zwift if I wanted with a group, instead of always having to choose like whatever Fire and Ice or whatever the heck they call it. Or
I
something
feel like they
that.
should do that. And the way they would do it is
should be able
some
to
sort of,
construct
like,
your own
magic portal thing that takes you to a different world, which then you could have a little bit of a loading screen
Yeah.
if they need to, because you have to load a whole new world into the computer system.
Yeah.
But they could do it.
But like if you wanted to ride up Alpe d'Huez Zwift, you have to do.
You have to choose a route that does
you have-
it. Yeah.
Which is
What's
Fire
up?
and Ice, and there's like a 10 mile lead into it, right?
I don't want to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's,
It'd be cool to like be able to design your route.
that's
a
what
little
I'm
bit
talking
more.
about. It's like a design your route option. Also, making the team jersey just way easier to get. Why is that so hard?
Yep.
Why
they
is
used
it
to
with,
do it way back in the day, like ODZ, for instance. I mean,
Yeah.
they were probably still are one of the biggest teams on there. And when they first got things going, they submitted their artwork, and Zwift made the shirts for them. And now when you go on there, you can put in a certain code and you can wear an ODZ kit, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of nice to have that capacity.
I
And
mean,
can't imagine that it'd be too
Can't just
terribly
go to like
difficult.
a create your own player thing. You remember like Madden back in the day? You
Yeah.
just make your own players. Just make
Yeah.
like you can kind of just like, hey, here's a letter. You put it. There's the C right there. DC orange. Boom. There you go. You got a kit without having to go through like a submission process or anything.
Kit and design your own routes. Better club features.
Better club features, yeah, for group rides,
Group
for
rides.
sure.
Lance.
Lance, you got anything?
I have no idea
You
what
don't-
I would ask for.
It's funny because you're the only person that's ridden indoors here.
I'm
Oh,
pretty
you
sure
came out
Evan
right.
rode
I'm riding
up
plenty indoors. Yeah.
Again, you guys are killing me. I'm trying to make a
I am a
point. I'm trying to
loyal
make a
Zwift-
point here.
Okay, with
You are a loyal
racing,
Zwifter.
with racing, I will say they need the racing is ridiculous. It's like we need to make the racing more approachable. You should not be able to start clipped in at 800 watts to start that. You should not be having to go to zone 12 to start a
the
race.
They all start like
They
that.
all do, and it drives me nuts. Like, my God, can we all just agree, hey, everybody, we're just going to ramp up real nice and slow? How about, because that's how, I don't know, a real bike race goes. Unless you're like getting a whole shot in short track, which is basically every Zwift race is the combination between short track and an actual road race effort. It's
Well, even at Crit, those just can jack right off.
That's not how I start a crit.
Whoa.
You heard the man.
Ice cream sandwiches. Ice cream sandwiches.
I'm not sure where that came from. I mean, they start fast. I can't.
First off, Lance, I've raced many a crit in my day, and I could probably say I've never started one fast. Also, probably why I've never won a crit.
Maybe why I won a crit.
What if they had a feature in there, though, if you were displaying any watts at all, that it would like lock your trainer up as soon as they blew the gun, and like you get like a penalty for like 5 seconds or something.
The actual thing goes.
I don't know how the computer would like lock up your trainer.
Well, my trainer's locked up on me before.
That's what we call a bug.
Just us walking, thinking,
I don't know. That'd be kind of cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
all right, I got some suggestions. Lance, thanks for nothing.
What's yours?
I don't have a lot to say because I know things that are coming, so I don't want to be like, oh, here we go. But I agree with your suggestions.
I know one of the things you're talking about.
You know, one of the things they did recently was they added more pacer bots.
Yes.
There's more options for pacer bots.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool until what they did is because they added so many more levels of pacer bots, all the pacer groups are much smaller now.
Yeah.
Which I think is good because, okay, so right now, like, PacerBot D is like the most popular still. And so, yeah, I think that they're aware of that situation of like where pacer bots are popular.
There could be 500 or 600 people in a pacer group.
PacerBot A is insane.
Yeah,
and there's only like
is so hard.
There's like 4 people with
there's
PacerBot
like no
A
drafting, and I'm like, all of you are way different right now.
Does that bother you though that the pacer bots are rolling on some of these flat courses and people are going out there and they're riding for an hour and they're getting like 27 miles? I'm like,
they're getting crazy.
It just kind of inflates like your roll. And then I don't really care about that, but then you've got that same person at the end of the year chest pounding saying, yeah, I rode 10,000 miles, but they did it in like 400 hours. It's like, come on.
Because we talked about this. If I, and I'm very aware of this. So if I do, the one reason I really do like the trainer, one is because I can do other work things while I'm on there. But also too, just for me as a pure time trialist, it's just pressure on the pedals the entire time, which is what I need in my training, which is great. But I look at my end of year, and I think, Jake, we even talked about this. If I was to average a ride 20 miles an hour in Zwift, that's like an 18 to 18 and a half mile an hour ride outside.
Yeah.
So like, if you're thinking a mile less per hour of your year, that's how I calculate. So it's like 500 miles less by the end of the year.
What do you
600
do, though?
miles less.
You don't ride with pacer bots, do you?
Every once in a while, if they come flying by me,
through,
I'll actually make an interval out of it to like, but hopping on is like, for me, that's like a 7 watt per kilo effort for like a minute because they're flying at that point if it's like 50 people in that group.
Just gotta find the right group that comes
You have
through.
to kind of pay attention because if
you gotta time
if you tail off, well, not only jumping on,
you can't tail off.
But if you tail off, it is
effort.
The B group is very difficult to get back on if you tail off.
Right.
Yeah, because
if you lose the draft, oh my, it is
so big.
It's so hard to get back on.
Yeah.
Do you think that they need to adjust some of their data, some of their metrics or algorithms, whatever that is that they're using to maybe make it a little bit more real life or real world like?
Not so much.
I think they're always adjusting that drafting algorithm. I feel like that's one of the spots where they're always tweaking. And I don't know if they're always tweaking it for the better or worse because they're kind of like, we're closer to real life. We're closer to real life. But if you had a Peloton that big in real life, you would be moving really fast.
That's very true.
I have a question for you about
50
Zwift.
50-person groups going to be flying.
Would Zwift be a better thing if they got rid of all of the power-ups? No power-ups, 0 power-ups.
I would like that. I would like them to go
you don't get that in real life. And I know that they're trying to gamify it a little bit, but I mean, I
like the power-ups. Something.
I want them to go away.
You like them?
I mean, sometimes. I mean, I think it's kind of like something to do in the
they
game.
absolutely make a difference in the races.
Yeah,
they 100%
sure.
I'd love to see
if you're hitting a spicy climb, like if you're doing the hilly road in a race and you don't have the feather power up, you're gone. Or you're having to put out some insane.
At the end of the day, that's
stay with
kind of luck of the draw in terms of what you
100%,
get.
Yeah.
And if you don't get that and you're doing a race and someone else does get that and you guys you would normally beat them and they've got the power up, then hang on, there goes that. So
that's why you don't take it too seriously.
Me and Josh this year are actually gonna our winter training bike block is going to be Zwift racing. So we're going to do Zwift racing together. Like he's doing like that F3 team wherever I'm going to jump into those same races.
Cool.
Which means I will get absolutely shattered in those because my training is definitely not reflected whatever the heck is Zwift. I wouldn't even know how to describe something. Like, how do I get ready for a Zwift race? I'm like, carve your top end as much as you humanly can because it's insane.
Yeah. Okay.
What else you got there, Matt, for that one?
So what's coming down the pike, Matt?
We'll find out.
Can you tell?
No.
You have insider info?
Yes.
But he can't say anything.
Really? That's in cahoots with Zwift now?
Suck.
Yeah.
Zwifty. No, I'm just, I'm always curious. Like, I like Zwift. We use it throughout the winter, and it's good, and I need to get better at it. It's always been one of those things where it's like I'm not good at Zwifting. Like, I get on there, and I'm like, why does this hurt to do 100 to 150 watts? Like, this is ridiculous. And then I go on the road, and it's like I'm fine at 200.
Yeah.
I don't understand how I'm so bad at Zwift. So I've always been like, I don't like dealing with traffic. I definitely think that Zwift is something that I should like devote some time to try to get better to it. And to this day, I'm still horrible at Zwift. So,
will Zwift be integrating in a Discord-like feature? Maybe. Are you allowed to say?
Not that I'm aware of.
That would be cool too.
Yeah.
That's another point. Yeah.
That would be that would be a great feature.
That would be a great feature.
That's what and we've talked about that. I think that we as a podcast have asked like what
and then
Zwift
maybe you
should
could even
do
like
over the
silence it
years.
during races to just your team and stuff like that because they
Oh,
really
that
only
would
have
be
the
cool.
general message board on there, which everybody, if you're like, hey team, let's attack now, you're like, okay, well that guy just said that they're about to attack.
I feel
so
like
it's-
they could integrate that into their companion tool. Like
Yeah.
that
yes,
they
into
should do
Zwift
that.
companion. Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's such a, and we've talked about that on this podcast. We've like needs to have voice. Like voice needs to come into Zwift somewhere. That's a great idea.
They could literally make the racing kind of reflect how a Peloton would
Team
work.
with-
It'd be cool.
with
Yeah, exactly.
radios.
You
Yeah.
got your radio. Yeah. Maybe instead of power ups, they have hand. Like you got to take in nutrition. Your Zwift guy, you got to time your nutrition right. You're like, oh no, you're bonking.
Beer hand ups.
Evan, you Zwifted this past weekend,
Take
right?
your amphetamines.
Yeah, that should be what it is.
Did you Zwift this past weekend?
Oh yeah.
Matt, when was the last time you jumped on Zwift?
Oh, it's been a long time since I've been on
Before I
Zwift.
got
Like
here, I
when?
jumped on Zwift.
I bet you I will just take a guess and say 3 months ago.
Okay. And Lance was on Zwift this past
This week. How about you?
Was.
You went on Zwift, didn't you, recently?
I haven't been on Zwift since the first week of May.
I'm still paying for Zwift, I think.
So
too.
am I. I should have turned that off. But if I turn that off, then my kids have accounts and
Yep. You lose all that
may
stuff.
or may not have somebody else in the household using one of those accounts. So
We had a big block of rain at the beginning of the summer.
Yeah.
So I bet you all of us were using it at that point. Even Lance.
I didn't.
I left town.
Yeah, you did. You just picked up and go.
I just left.
Cool. It's a good question, Matt. I like
Too
that
much
one.
rain.
All right.
Get out.
Evan.
Question.
Yes. Get a hot seat.
All right. Will Remco
No.
Evenepoel Will Remco Evenepoel in his career win a Tour de France and a classic, a spring classic?
A hot one.
Through his whole career, will he win
a Grand
one
Tour?
of each? No, not a Grand Tour, the Tour de France and a spring classic.
No.
No.
Yes.
There you go. Good answer.
I think chances are yes.
I will agree with Lance and say
Well,
Whoa.
okay.
yes.
He's
And I
clearly
hate,
let me-
talented.
I hate him more than anybody in the Peloton by a lot.
Okay, but
yes.
here's the thing about the Tour de France. Okay, yes, Remco is young and he has an engine and he can race, but so is Tade. And
Yeah, that's true.
They're
There's some
also
and
young.
Vingegaard.
And Vingegaard. Those
young.
Vingegaard's
And
26.
Egon is back. Egon is back.
And yes, so there's
is
like
Egon doing well? Is he fit?
he's been-
Is he,
I mean,
is he back? But like
he's on his way
Chris
back.
Froome's back too. I mean,
Done some small
Chris
races.
on
Froome
his
is
way back.
at the Vuelta getting dropped.
Chris Froome is
every-
27 years older than Egon Bernal, though.
That's
So
true.
that's
yeah, he's just actually there. He's his grandfather.
he is. He is, I'm pretty sure.
It's a relation there.
But the talk against Remco is that there's 5 other guys
There's a
that
ton
are
of
all
talent around.
his
Really good.
age right now that they're all going to be competing unless somebody.
I don't
flies
think you
off a
win. I
bridge.
don't think you win the tour unless you have the team backing you. And right now,
He
He's
does
gotta
not at
figure
this
that
moment,
out.
but he's on a team that has money.
That's true.
Quick Step has, I think, the financial means to build a team around him. If he wins this Vuelta, they will be looking at the next 2 to 3 years and say, what's the year we're going to build him up for the tour? Because they even tried to support Alaphilippe to win the tour.
Yeah.
And now they're looking at a guy where they're like, don't get me wrong, no disrespect to Alaphilippe, one of the greatest racers of this generation.
He is a good racer.
You're now looking at Remco and you're like, this is the guy that can actually win the tour.
Hey, how cool has it been to watch? Alaphilippe has
Work for him,
been
yeah.
working for Remco.
Yeah.
He's been drilling it to the bottom of the final climb
Nice
every
work.
day, trying to lead out Remco. It's been cool.
How many years are left on Alaphilippe's contract?
Well, that's a great question.
He seems like he's got to be getting older, right?
Yeah, I mean,
He's still
he's
got
not
some
young,
years,
but
but
if Valverde
he's-
showed us anything, you can be at Alaphilippe for a long time.
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
curious if they keep him around because I'm sure he's a pretty hefty paycheck. I mean, he's going to
He
be a
is.
great domestique.
So is Remco. Remco and him are gobbling up a lot of money.
I think he's worth it.
So is Jakobsen.
Julian Alaphilippe.
Jakobsen's grabbing a lot of money
that's
too.
true. I don't think that they may have a big budget, but that's still tricky to balance all of that.
But you can still build a really good tour team around not if you want to win classics, I think is actually the more expensive teams because I mean like
you gotta,
dudes winning 1 days and world championship contenders, those guys cost money. Getting like a Sepp Kuss, I actually don't think is that expensive.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Comparatively. Yeah. Because all you need is a guy that's
Do you think Alaphilippe,
just barely not good enough to win the Grand Tours and be like, hey man, you're lucky you get a spot on our team.
Yeah.
do you think Alaphilippe would be okay with being not the guy?
Yeah.
And just because, I mean, he can still be the classics guy.
If Remco wins the Vuelta this year by a margin, because think about it, if Remco wins the Vuelta by a margin right now, he just beat Roglic. So
it's
you
really a lot
can
of
look at
pressure.
him and say, all right, it's Tadej, Remco, and Vingegaard for the next couple of years. And I'll roll the dice and say Remco, one of these tours is going to slip in and win one. And I do think Remco has the ability to win a classics too. Yeah.
He's got to have teammates that like him, though.
Yeah, and he's also Belgian, so he's going to have to win a classic.
Yeah,
Belgium
that's true.
won't care if he doesn't win a classic.
Alaphilippe signed a 3-year extension last year for Quick Step, so he's got 2 more years on
It'll be
Quick
interesting
Step.
to see what happens next year.
That will be.
Because if he does really well in this race, there's
Yeah.
going to be pressure for the tour next time.
What if poor Sepp leaves Jumbo Visma I'm going to go to a team that's going to support me, and then he goes to Quick Step, and they're like, how about you work for Remco?
I guess the price is
I don't
right.
think Sepp's not
Sepp's
going anywhere.
fantastic, but it's the same problem.
Yeah.
Well, how old is Sepp? He's like 26 or
the same
20.
age as all
I
those
don't think
guys.
that Sepp has
26?
shown that he can time trial. I don't think that he's shown that ability.
Yeah.
Is he-
Remco
is
can
he-
time trial.
Is his contract up?
Sepp's?
Sepp Kuss? I
No,
figure
he signed
he's
an
around for a
extension.
while,
I think he
right?
signed an extension,
Yeah.
I think he likes the team. I think he's sticking there.
It's done great for his development.
I think
I mean,
that's-
if he's making enough money to where he's like, you know what? Because really, if you think
okay.
about it, I'd almost rather be a lieutenant
got 2 more
than the
years
GC
as well.
guy. The GC guy is not fun. You're a monk for your entire that is not a fun existence. Being the lieutenant guy, you get to kind of maybe have a bad day or two, and then still
They'll turn you loose for
get
a
some
stage
glory.
or two.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Being a George Hincapie is better than being a Lance Armstrong. That'd be my opinion. I'd rather be George.
Everybody likes George.
Everybody likes George.
And nobody likes
Nobody
Lance.
likes Lance. Everybody loves Alaphilippe. No, nobody likes Remco. So
That's right. That's right. How old do you think Alaphilippe is?
31.
36, like old, maybe 34.
29.
34.
He's 29.
Wow.
I thought it was young. I thought it was
You
much older.
nailed that one on the dot.
29.
I knew he wasn't as old
So
as
he's
we
got
think.
he's got some years of
Yep.
cycling ahead of him.
He's got another decade of good, solid racing.
And he can race a lot
He
of
can do
different
everything.
stuff.
Didn't he shave off his goatee?
He did.
Everybody's like,
That's-
wait, who's this guy?
Yeah.
We'll never find a new guy in the peloton.
Yeah, super arrow now.
Very cool.
Okay, next question.
Lance Epler.
Okay, we are almost through our summer riding series season here in the Northwest. What has been your favorite piece of summer cycling gear, equipment?
Oh, that's not
not.
the direction I thought you were going to go.
What did you think I was going to say?
I thought you were going to say your favorite cycling experience during the summer. Now I got to think gear. Oh, God. Okay.
Well, it's clearly over the bars at.
I
tell you right.
I
It's
really
clearly
like.
the mountain bike I bought to go over the bars.
I
with.
like that jersey that you threw up on. That's a beautiful piece of kit.
Wait, which one? There's several. There's
so many of
several
those. I will start by saying the new Varia radar with the camera attachment. I think that's a good piece of kit.
Pretty cool. I like it too.
My Varia camera did catch my slow speed rib breaking
nice.
video, but it's so embarrassing. I haven't released it to my public yet because it's so embarrassing.
Your publisher's holding that in the vault.
We're waiting for a bigger offer.
That's a good one. For me, this is going to sound really weird. I really like those new gravel bibs that we were getting, the Team Gravel bibs from Corey.
Yeah.
Those Those have been fantastic.
They are nice. They got 4 extra pockets on them.
Yeah. I just, my favorite bibs now are ones that have the cargo pockets on them. I mean, granted, you can't see them, so you can still wear them as like a standard piece of like race kit and not have to worry about the downside.
And you wear those on the road too all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the go-to. It's not like you're saving those for gravel rides or
for
whatever
someone
they're
with
supposed to be for.
a couple really bad shoulders, it gets hard to get back there in the jersey pocket. Sometimes it's nice just to be able to grab your phone down there or keep some food in there or whatnot. It's just super easy to get to for me.
The only time I haven't worn those is in a race situation where like I'm not taking my phone, I have nothing in my pockets, I'm just racing, and then I don't wear those. Every other time I wear them.
I have several of them, and I only have one set of the standard issued team race bibs, and I use them just like you said. Yeah. I would use those for cyclocross because I don't have a cross kit. I would use them for a crit or a road race.
I did donate a pair to the forest when we were up at Timothy Lake of those gravel bibs.
You think it would be because you like pooped in them and then you had to like throw them into the woods?
No,
you just drove off with them.
They were hanging on the hanger on the ladder or the back of the van.
Do you know how
and
bad
I just
you'd have
drove
to
off.
poop your bibs for the better option to be? I'm just going to walk around naked.
It would have to be pretty bad.
Like that's what you're choosing between. Is like
nudity out at.
Nudity's more legal than what I just did to these bibs.
If you're at Mount Hood, though, the Mount Hood, there's a lot of nudity.
There could be. Yeah,
you are in the
be.
Pacific Northwest. That's just the
true.
thing.
What about you, Evan?
I would say my new Aero skis for this year. The Speed Shop 51s, I think that I got, and have angled them up to where I feel like I am in a spaceship every single time I jump on my time trial bike now.
Wow.
It's
They
made
are.
it
Are you talking about
wildly
the
more
arm?
comfortable.
You talking about the armrest things?
So the little Aero skis have allowed me to get an angle, and then Josh Sutton was able to put a wedge in to move my Aero pads. Same Aero pads. It's the skis that are different, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Aero handlebars.
It's much more of that praying mantis. I don't know if you've heard like that as a style of
where
aero position.
your arms aren't parallel to the ground. They're like
way up.
40, almost 45 degrees.
Almost 45 up.
Yeah.
And that's just as aero, or it's more aero.
It's faster well, it depends on the person. Some people flat is better, but a lot of people the praying mantis position is fast.
I have liked it. My head is touching my water bottle now. So watch out for buses and other things. But yes,
it's like, is it a little harder to control the bike with them up there?
Yeah, it's definitely a. I was talking with somebody about this recently who was like, he was mentioning to me, he's like, yeah, man, I'd love to like, he has good power profiles, and he's like, yeah, man, I'd love to just like get on a TT bike and fly. And I'm like, dude, it takes like I have pure respect for mountain biking where like I don't care what my power profile is, I suck as a mountain biker. But roadies need to remember, like, you don't just jump on a time trial bike and you're fast. It takes years to be able to develop into these positions. Like, one, your power is going to suck, and then because you kink your femoral artery. So it's literally like the equivalent of blood flow restriction riding, basically. And also, it is not a comfortable position until you train. Like, there are way different muscle groups you got to train.
There are a lot of people that come in and they'll see a time trial bike and like, oh, I want one of those. That looks like a really fun, fast, cool looking bike. And they automatically think because you can rest your arms on something that's more comfortable. I'm like, nope. It is 100% the opposite. You're not going to like that bike. 5 minutes later, you're going to be like, get this thing away from me. I never want to touch one again.
And the handling is very different. So now the handling for me is even changed. Being in the praying mantis, it's a very different motor pattern I have to use to handle.
Sure.
I love it now. Like, actually, I feel more comfortable in it than I did before. But it took me like a month to
You had to work at it to get more comfortable at it, or as comfortable.
Did you change your bike that's on the trainer, the Specialized? You need to.
I do need to change that. I need to flip those skis.
Yeah.
I need to flip them. Yep.
You can do that, I'm sure.
Yeah, easy.
Find something.
I need to do that actually probably this week. Yeah.
So yours was the radar, mine was the bibs, yours are skis. What was yours, Lance?
I haven't said yet.
Then say it.
Let's go.
What you got?
I am a sweaty, nasty man. No surprise there. And
is this a Downy Pods commercial?
No, I've been wearing that Velo.
Oh, the Halo.
The Halo headband thing that has the strip. And I didn't wear it for several years because I thought it looked dorky.
Mm-hmm. So you thought it looked like a dork all the years that I've known you?
So you're telling me that the look was good.
I'm like, I don't want to wear this stupid headband or underneath my helmet. It's going to be... And then you wear it and you're like, oh, the sweat is not dripping off my forehead into my glasses, which is a major problem. Every climb that I do, I pull my glasses off and put them on my helmet because I just rather not have the sweat drip on them. With that thing, it cuts it down dramatically. And so I don't care that I look as dorky as Jake. I'm going to do it anyway.
It's so ridiculous because like then your glasses are all grimy and gross and you can't see through them and you're like, this sucks.
Yeah.
And it's every ride over whatever it is, 40, 50 miles, you're like, this sucks. These glasses are trash.
Yes.
I need to clean them. You have to grab a water bottle, try to wash them off.
And you can't dry them because your kit's soaking wet and it just streaks everywhere. Yeah,
that's been because I'll always hands off the handlebars, take the glasses off, trying to use my kit that's like attached to me basically. And then wipe them. And I was like, that made it worse because my kit is soaking wet now.
Someone needs to come up with a solution for that. Cleaning your glasses while riding.
Yeah,
that's $1 million idea right there.
Get on it,
Copyright
Zwift.
it. It's mine. I own it.
You gotta have something dry, and that's just hard to have something dry 50 miles in.
We need to start riding with little feather bandanas, like in our little pocket. Like you have your little napkin there. We need to have a dry one, a perma dry, a handkerchief for cyclists.
I keep one in my pocket at all times. Except at the moment, there's none in there.
Not today.
That's why I'm just sweaty.
All the time. Sweaty. So sweaty.
This handkerchief's completely soaked.
Okay, so that was Jake's question?
That was my question.
That was your question?
Jake's
What's Jake's question?
Okay, Jake's question is going to be a choose your own adventure.
Ooh.
You guys get to pick one of 3. First one.
Okay.
Are e-bikes taking over the world? Second one. What is your favorite piece of kit going into the winter time that you're looking to get?
Ooh, that complements the last question well.
And the last one is, how do you guys test your tires and determine what stays on your bike?
Oh.
So,
can we answer all of them?
Do we have time?
No.
That's not how Choose Your Adventure books work. Did you ever read one of these as a kid?
We can do all of them,
but did you go back and read the adventure and do a different direction?
No, I did it honestly. I followed the rules, man.
Okay.
If I died on page 12, it was over. That was it.
Over.
Which one do you for sure want to do? We'll see how fast we can go.
E-bikes.
E-bikes?
We can be quick on this. Yeah, I think e-bikes are, volume-wise, they are taking over the world.
Okay, they have outpaced the sales of regular bikes.
That's amazing.
It's bonkers. And
They definitely attract a bigger audience.
Yes.
Because it's not just the cyclists or the people.
The commuters.
Yes, it's not just commuters. It's also grandma and grandpa and anybody else who wants to get some exercise outside but doesn't want to run because their Achilles might explode on them.
Everyone I see riding one, I'm like, good on you.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
So it appeals to a broader audience. So
Do I get to be devil's advocate for a second?
Sure.
Go for it.
Yes, they're taking over the world, and it makes me very sad. Because I think we are seeing first world Western society continue this path down being soft.
I just don't think it's going to...
They're not selling in Kenya. You still got old people running in Kenya.
But that same person's likely to be sitting on their couch or behind a computer and doing nothing, and now they're going outside, and they're going to advocate for cyclists.
And what is it going to do? What is it going to do for bike lanes? That's my question. Is it going to be good? Yes.
It will be good.
Is it going to be good for
more people on the road?
For the bikes versus cars, which is probably one of the biggest issues in cycling?
I'm not sure if it's going to be good.
I think it will.
I think cars are just going to hate cyclists more. You got a lot of people who don't ride bikes probably or handle that well now on the road frequently.
True.
I'm just saying from the complaints we hear about car people are always like, I hate cyclists. I don't think they're going to see a bunch of people on e-bikes and be like, I now love cyclists. Like that's
hopefully they're changing their car out for
that would
one
be.
of those bikes.
I mean, that would be the key. Yeah, that'd be great. Oh, if everybody jumped on a bicycle and was on e-bike, I could care less. That'd be great.
You make a good point. I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I'm going to be in the camp over here with Matt of it's a good thing. It's a step in the right direction. It's kind of up to other cyclists and people in general in society to say, that's great that you have an e-bike. Maybe you should try and turn off the battery or turn off the motor or have a second bike and use that as a gateway. But on the whole, though, I think that they're a good thing. There are 2 things, though, that I kind of have a little bit of a gripe with. The first one is almost all of these companies are going to be direct to consumer, and they're going to be sending the people the bike in the mail, and they're going to have to put it together. I have a little bit of
people can't put these bikes together.
It could be good for your business if you cater to that.
It has been.
We've done a lot of it this summer. A lot.
That's good.
Of building bikes for people who said, I got this, and
I don't know how to build it.
I don't want to build it. Will
Which
you build
is
it
99% of the people getting e-bikes, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they just don't have that. And what's sad is there are quite a few people that are getting them because they're getting them probably for a little bit of a budget deal, and they don't want to have a bike shop put it together because they don't want to pay the $75 to $200 to have us assemble it and tune it and make sure that it's safe to ride. And they're going to have issues out there. They're going to have things falling off or breaking.
Yeah.
So this leads me to the next thing is like they're trying to do stuff on a budget here, and so they're coming out with these bikes that are like maybe sub $1,000. I mean, that sounds like a lot of money in the cycling world. That's not a lot of money at all. And they're coming out with some pretty crappy low grade stuff that's just not safe. Like some things come through the door. I'm like, really? They put that on there? They expect that bike to be able to stop. They expect that bike not to fall apart.
Yeah.
That's kind of dangerous. It's kind of like a sucky thing. So maybe it is a good idea for you to take it into the bike shop just to kind of have them check and make sure that your bike is going to be safe to ride.
But here's the problem with that is, let's say they give you some frame that's just jank and it looks like it's going to break, and the bike shop's like, this doesn't look safe. You already spent $1,000 on this thing or more probably. And then what are you going to do? They're stuck. They're high and dry with a bike that's like crappy and broken, and the bike shop says it's not safe. I mean, they could try to return it, but...
You can try, yeah. You have to maybe do your homework beforehand. Don't just buy something willy-nilly, not knowing what the outcome's going to be. Like, if you've got the ability to return it, then that's good. If you don't, then probably want to skip it.
This is where I just feel like we're losing important steps on people becoming more active and getting into a sport like cycling. And this is just about being active in general. So I was just talking with a PT friend of mine about water aquatics classes. I have a very strong opinion on water aquatics classes. I think they are terrible. They are a marketing ploy, and I don't think that they do almost anybody any good. But they were marketed to an older population. I'm going to be a jerk here because I don't like
my
the fitness industry marketing. I don't like the fitness industry telling lies and the medical industry telling lies to make money. What they basically did was they tried to create a really easy barrier for people to get into being active. Water aquatics class generally is social hour. When you're sitting in the water, your blood flow is actually better. Your heart is actually working less than it would be you standing with gravity. Okay, this is all true stuff, and this is why you're seeing a lot of people should not be going into these as their form of exercise.
Okay, this is my primary form of exercise.
Hold on. I'm going to finish here because
go. I'm listening.
So what I don't like is that our initial thoughts on getting people into exercise of any type, just active lifestyle, take the word exercise out of it, is let's make the barrier of entry as easy as possible. What we don't realize is that people then use that barrier of entry, that initial entry, as their only form of exercise then for the next 5 to 10 years. Because we don't tell them the next step would be like, hey, your goal is probably to ride that e-bike without the battery at some point.
Yeah.
I promise you, being a medical professional and in the fitness industry quite a bit, that's not the step most people take
never going to happen.
They don't.
But it also
they do not.
It also might be that all those people going to e-bikes were never going to go to cycling to begin with.
I know, but that's our problem. Is that needs to be our push, is to get people actually active, not pretend active like water aquatics classes. Not the social media perspective of active. We need to really convince people that, yes, I know this is difficult, but you learning how to actually work on your bike so it can be safe for you to ride, and learning to push those pedals, and maybe starting with rides that are really easy and then slowly building your way up is what we need to do. It's not the easy answer,
right?
But it is the correct answer.
That would require them to pump their own tires. What's Jake gonna do at the triathlon race?
But this is why, I mean, like, starting with kids is always great. Like all these kids I'm working with, plenty of them are new to cycling. None of them have ever once mentioned to me like, hey, I want to get on a motor, e-bike so I can go faster. No, they want to get on a bike and start to work harder so they can get faster to go with their friends. That needs to be how we get adults into this.
But those are athletic kids, not the whole 90% of their classmates.
I can't say this on air, but not all of them.
Athletic.
Not all of them are that. I'll be honest. Let's be careful. I could take any kid and teach me to be a cyclist. Any kid.
There's a couple different things here that you need to keep in mind too. And people, when they're thinking about going out and getting a bike, and they're thinking, I'm going to get exercise.
Yeah.
Get one that has pedal assist. Don't get one that has a throttle. If you have one that has a throttle, you don't have to do anything. You can just sit there, and it just turns into a glorified little
walking
motorcycle.
is more exercise.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm saying is we shouldn't be promoting things in the exercise world that is less exercise than walking. Yeah. Water aquatics and e-bikes are not more exercise than walking.
I don't know. They pump the music in that water aquatics. They're dancing. And social hour is still a positive.
This is true. Your heart rate never crested 90.
Change your mind.
You have tons of vasoassistance and blood
high
flow
for a lot of people. 90 heart rate,
quote unquote, strength training in a non-weight bearing environment. We also what happened on the moon, right? When they came back, they were super strong.
I also think that I think the people I'm seeing on e-bikes are not kids. I have very rarely seen kids on e-bikes. I've seen mostly older people that probably.
I've seen mostly middle-aged people, to be completely honest.
I'll say middle-aged to old people.
Yeah.
Like that
Sun-
don't. They look like they couldn't.
Sun River might be a different story, but
Well, yeah, I'm thinking like people that probably would struggle to ride around my neighborhood.
yeah, that's okay to struggle and do something.
So
Yeah, no,
my,
you're right.
Your neighborhood, my God, yeah, but that's I would tell the person to be like, hey, we probably need to keep it a little bit flatter. That's
my other gripe with e-bikes is if you are going to get a good one, my God, are they expensive?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are.
Like you're
They're so
spending
expensive.
Yeah.
a bunch of money, so that's going to be prohibitive for a lot of people. So
Yeah. It's like
what's kind of sucky is
$5,000 to get started for decent e-bikes.
yeah, that's
because-
just like barely getting your foot in the door for
Yep.
a decent
because
one.
if it's going to be an answer to getting America more active, most of inactive America is in not the first class. That's just the stats. I
Yeah.
mean, we're talking obesity, diabetes are very, very prevalent in lower class America right now. We need to have a low barrier of entry option financially that's actually going to get these people active, like truly active, not a pretend active. We cannot continue to pretend that these things are good.
But Evan, there's no motivation for that because who's going to do that encouragement? The reason
Motivation's overrated.
I know, but like
know.
I mean,
But
the
that's our
companies
problem
that are
is that
selling
we focus
e-bikes
on
are selling
motivation only.
e-bikes so that they can make money, and so they're going to want to attract the biggest possible group that they can. So they sell e-bikes. It's not like
Yeah.
I'm trying to motivate you to go from your $5,000 e-bike to buying
to making a super
$1,000
affordable option that somebody could take. But I'm saying that's the so this is why I'm saying the fitness and the medical industry are continuing to fail. We're swinging and missing over and over again because we're focusing on the wrong barriers of entry. We're focusing on that. We need to make it feel easier so everybody can get it instead of no, we need to make it financially appropriate so that everybody can actually start to get active.
Yeah.
This is my gripe with e-bikes is because it's once again another swing and miss on that. And we are just, we're missing the point entirely. Look at healthy countries in the world. What makes them healthy? Their lifestyles are active. The barrier to entry is really, I mean, Gabriel Selassie was a very poor kid.
I wouldn't suggest that Ethiopia is like the healthiest country in the world.
I'm not saying it's the healthiest country in the world. I think
But
like
if you
actually
look at
Finland
if
by
you
the
look-
numbers
like
or something like
Finland,
that. Yeah.
but that's
Yeah.
a lot of that's because of the social situation that they have.
Completely different social
Which goes back to
situation.
water
Yeah.
aerobics being the best form of exercise.
Watch like that be super popular in Finland. It's not. I can promise you. They all ski. That's why they're
walk a-
also
they walk
they
a lot.
walk and ski. That's why they're also
A lot
healthy.
of walking.
What
Yeah.
countries do you think have like the most per capita of cyclists? Who would you say?
That's a great question. I mean, probably like the U.S. has got to be up. Well,
Probably
no,
the Netherlands.
per capita Belgium.
The Netherlands.
By like a
How
long-
many of those
by a long
bikes
shot.
are e-bikes?
Some of them.
A lot.
Yeah. There's a
What
good bit.
percentage? I'd be interested to know
I
the
bet
percentage.
it's way higher percentage than what we've got here in the United States.
you're right.
Oh no, I'd bet
No,
against that.
no, I bet it is. Because
No, I
that's-
bet the U.S.
so-
is higher percentage.
So the thing is,
I would bet.
there's way less cars, and you've got if you're moving
Yeah.
stuff in cars, like let's say you're moving people and moving, your furniture, and it's like the e-bikes are very popular in the
Gotcha.
Netherlands. Because
I
they're
want-
it's the cargo bikes basically.
Even
Yeah.
DC Rainmaker has a couple
yeah, he has
e-bikes.
two. Yeah.
Technically, is a rickshaw a bike? Technically, an
He doesn't
e-bike?
have a rickshaw.
No, I'm saying is it
But-
because then India for sure wins.
Well,
I
you
was
got-
living there. I
you
can
got- you got
promise you they
numbers.
have more rickshaws than
You got a lot of, but if we're saying percentage per capita, which is I think the original question, then Netherlands.
It's
is
more
probably
just
pretty
making
base.
people active in their daily life is the main.
I think
is
on the whole,
primary goal.
most e-bikes are pedal assist on the whole.
Yeah.
And I think legally to be out on the road, you can't have a throttle, if I'm not mistaken, and have it go over a certain mile per hour. And a lot of these do. And I think that's probably going to start to change.
Like
as
the scooters cap.
Exactly.
Like the rental
Like-
scooters in
Like
cities.
technically, you're not supposed to go over 20 miles an hour with these e-bikes with pedal assist without having to go out and purchase insurance and having a license to
gotcha.
do so.
Right.
And that's why they're all governed at that 20 miles an hour. There's a bunch of different ways to get around that, but I think on the whole, more and
If
more.
we run group rides that are over 20 miles an hour, if we're going by the letter of the law, do we technically have to have insurance?
No, because we're not
Okay,
riding
good.
in a
There's no pedal assist, obviously.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
It's not
It's a motorized vehicle.
Except for our
vehicle.
quads, our quads.
Motorized vehicle,
Yeah.
except for your
So
quads.
What if you're
or-
doping?
But
Then yes.
to kind of go against what you were saying, though, Evan, most of the bikes
Yeah.
are pedal assist, and you are still getting exercise. Is it going to be the same as you and I going out and beating the snot out of each other on bikes? No, not at all. But it's
Yeah.
still exercise. It's still causing overload. It's still causing blood flow. It's still causing elevated heart rate.
I don't know. I don't know.
Have you ridden an e-bike before?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Where?
I don't
what
believe
kind?
you.
With you and then once in Sun River. Yeah.
With me? Which one?
At the lab when I was messing around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It felt amazing.
But
Your
you haven't
heart
gone out
probably
like done
went
like when you actually go into. I've done
Yeah.
some commuting back and forth between my house and home. I still sweat. I still had a bit of a workout. I had, granted,
But we're still talking about you and me here. I think your typical person is probably trying to average like 30, 40 watts on that thing, which is the equivalent of probably just like hopping on a gym, recumbent bike and spinning for 15 to 30 minutes.
Still 30 or 40, 50 more watts more than sitting at the couch or behind a computer playing in a car.
This is true.
Yeah,
this is true.
Putting more people on the road. So,
but that's still not my point at the end of the day.
It's at least going in the right direction. Well, does it need to get better? Sure. It just, I don't know. And we've got so many people buying them, and it's becoming more and more prevalent that, obviously it's getting people exposed. And are we going to capture every single person and have them adopt a more healthy lifestyle? Probably not, but at least they're thinking about this whole process of getting on there. So I don't know.
I think it's huge just because each of those people might advocate for bikes in the future. Like,
if it gets us that, if it gets less people trying to hit people with their cars, sure. But I am worried that more traffic bike on the road might actually have the
could
inverse
cause some
problem,
issues. I just think like what we need is the city planners to start to see that.
Around
and
here,
be
they're
like,
pretty good. I mean, we have tons of bike lanes around the Southwest Washington and Portland area.
But it could be better. I mean,
yeah.
Bike lanes that just end into nothing, and you're like, okay, it'd be great if it's connected to this piece over here. Like that's
like
just
Fourth Plane or places like that is
everywhere.
comes to mind.
I don't think that the city planners or the cities in general are really thinking about this whole thing. I mean, just think about, we live in Clark County, Washington.
Yeah.
And it seems like they just won the freaking lottery when it came to having money to start working on roads. Everything's getting repaved or chip sealed, or I'm watching them put in new sidewalks and all the things. They're putting in gobs and gobs of money. They've been building houses for days.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any new bike lanes out there, guys. It's just not happening.
I'm trying to think if I've seen
there's gonna be one.
Portland's the only place I can think of where I was seeing new bike lanes.
The one that you're talking about is probably going to be, what, 300 yards long?
Yeah, it's something like that.
By the gym.
It's just a spot that needs it. It's another one of those connector spots.
Oh, is it the lead up to Gold's when the lane?
Yep.
Yeah, because that like ends randomly and then
starts back up later. Yeah.
Well, again, are e-bikes taking over?
No,
unfortunately,
they are like from a sales standpoint, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, they definitely. I mean, they're taking over in the sense that they're definitely going above what mechanical bikes are selling right now.
All right, real quick, around the table, we'll push that one aside and just tell me, what is it that you guys are going to be getting going into the crappy months of this 2022-2023 winter season? One piece of kit, one item, one something, whatever. Is there something that you're going to add to your cycling repertoire? Go.
I don't feel like I have anything that I need necessarily, but I could use a thermal jersey.
That's not a bad one.
Like a team branded one?
The team branded ones are great.
Yep, we got some team branded thermal jerseys that are going to be in the store that just got opened up today. So cool.
Awesome.
That's always a good one. Evan Price, what do you got?
I already got some really good gloves last year. So that was basically
gloves
it.
Are always good.
And I got a dialed skull cap. So those were kind of the two things I needed.
Sweet.
That's it. Most of my riding's indoor during the winter.
Lance Epler.
New gloves every year. Because I
you crash and tear
I
them.
beat the snot out of them the previous year.
And you wipe the snot out of them.
I do wipe a lot of. I am a sweaty man.
Sweaty, snotty, sweaty man.
Sweaty.
I've got gloves for the wintertime that basically mash up with every temperature and weather condition that could possibly be thrown at you, from, mild spring days to like 20 degrees and snowing and everything in between. I've got a glove for that. And for all the different bikes, too.
Yeah.
It's kind of nuts.
Sounds about right.
My one thing, it's not really winter related, but I'm getting a new helmet finally. It's on the way. Finally. We got their new Casco Bortone icons coming.
Oh, cool.
So I'm stoked that I get to have a new helmet, because it's been almost 4 years since I purchased a new helmet. That's 2 years too long. So
probably time.
Cool. And then real quick, how do you guys test your tires? When do you know that you got a call? When is it time to tap out, or how do you adopt something new?
When you start to have flats all the time and you're like, all right.
When I've punctured the tubeless enough to where it's not sealing anymore, or actually for me, it's whenever I'm going to do a race block now. I get.
But it's not the tire that you've been running for a while. But let's talk about switching to a new brand or a new style or something new that came out. Not necessarily
I just read the marketing hype, and if I'm curious enough about it, then I do it. Or if you're in a situation where you just need tires, like the Pirelli is not something that was really on my radar until you guys had good experience with it. So it's like social friends influence, and I'm like, okay, well, they've had good good experience.
Because there's just too many factors that go into it. Because I want to assess am I flattening on this tire too much? And I'm like, or am I just riding a Vancouver Lake too much? And is there a lot of glass out there?
There is. Answer.
Because if I just rode in really nice areas all the time, I could probably be convinced that some tire that's not that flat resistant.
Everyone flatted except for Ari and Cassie out at Vancouver Lake.
Yeah,
there's so much glass.
My Vittoria did hold, for the record. It did hold, but
tubeless.
I was having to do that last interval set on way less pressure.
Yeah.
it's such a tough one. I mean, Matt, what's the website again that you can go to check rolling resistance? Because I know that we're all kind of like geeks when it comes to how fast our tires roll. So
it might be like rollingresistance.com.
Something like
I'm
that.
Not sure.
You can Google that term, and I'm sure it'll come up.
I think it's like there's another one that's bikeblather.blogspot.com. That's another website.
I think also you
like
could just text Andy Potts and ask him.
Ugh, he's the worst person to ask.
Inside triathlon joke. Yeah. He rode gator skins at Kona one year.
So you do a little bit of web research, and like, all right, these all have a pretty good rolling resistance. When you get out there, like, it's hard to see like a true difference. I mean, you're kind of splitting hairs to a certain degree.
But I think for rolling resistance, you have to just accept the numbers that are given to you. You can't quantify. You can't
And I mean, in theory, you kind of
that.
got to be at the right PSI too. In theory,
Exactly.
like I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into it. So,
correct PSI for the correct type of road.
And for the correct tire, man. I mean, I'm sure even some of those tires probably rolling resistance wise change if you want to pump 100 into it versus 50 or 60. I'm sure that changes.
Yeah,
and then you're pushing the tires too. You're feeling how they accelerate. You're feeling how they go into corners. You're paying attention to like are they getting a little loose, or do they feel like they're just really hugging the roads like burn eggs on a frying pan? Do you guys do a little bit of testing that way too, or are you guys being a little bit more ginger about
crits? I don't do enough crits to really get a sense of how they're cornering. And I mean, like on a TT bike, they're really, you can only get so aggressive on a TT bike. So
Lance, you got anything to add here?
I just kind of go with what's on the shelf when I need a tire. That's a lot of what I do. Although I'm quite partial to the Pirelli tires because I've had them for a couple years and they've treated me really well.
Yeah.
So, and they're smooth and they corner well, and I feel like they're tight when I'm cornering. I don't know.
I mean, you're going to be rolling a tubeless tire these days. Usually, for a lot of people, they've switched over to that, and I've just come to find that those ones are probably the most puncture resistant because you're going to get punctures, and if it's puncture resistant, you're not going to get as big of a hole, or you're not going to get a hole at all, and it's going to seal up a little bit better, a little bit faster. And the rubber that Pirelli uses, I think, is pretty fantastic.
Yeah,
it's been the best that I've used to date.
Yeah.
I haven't had good luck with the GP5000 STLs yet. They feel fantastic.
Yeah.
They're a nice rolling tire. They've got supposedly really good rolling resistance. I've talked about this a few times, but I've also had quite a few punctures on those where it just has been a pain in the butt. Like you got to stop, you got to either plug it or you got to like get it to stop spewing out all kinds of sealant and air. And then you have to, hopefully be able to put some air back in them and have it not open back up again. Where I don't think I ever dealt with that once with my Pirelli tires. I mean, you come back sometimes and you see the little spray up your seat tube. That was it.
That worked.
That worked well. So cool. All right. And then what was my last question? We covered them all. That's it.
Those three.
Cool. All right. Let's do one last thing. Matt Legrand, go first.
I posted a video last week talking about the Apple Watch. Is it good for triathlon? It's out there. People can watch it.
Is it good for triathlon?
It's okay. It's actually not bad. They have this new feature in the operating system, the next operating system that's coming out probably in 2 weeks or so. And the new feature is automatic splits on the triathlon racing. So you don't have to hit a button or anything like that. You just swim, bike, and run and transition, and it'll do all that math for you. So I used it at the Columbia River Triathlon, and it worked. The only issue, one of the main issues I had was because it's a touch screen, in that race you start in the water, it is very hard to get things started on the touchscreen. I almost wasn't able to. I almost had to get out of the water, dry it off, turn it on. Because I really, and this is what I say in the video. I was I really wanted to test that feature. It was one of the reasons I wanted to do the race. And so, anyway, I did get it started barely right as the gun was going off, and it worked. So there's that.
I'm so used to seeing you wearing two watches at all times. You're always double fisting the watches there.
And people sometimes ask me about it, and they're like, why do you have two watches? And I'm like, why do you have one watch? Why do you have no watches?
Why don't you?
Why don't you have two watches? People,
that's awesome.
Come on.
Cool. Evan Price, one last thing.
I am actually Cassie's birthday is coming up this weekend.
Ooh, that's cool. What are you guys going to do?
So we are going to the coast for a night, which will be fun. And then come back, and then we are basically traveling every single weekend through September. At least I am.
Oh, wow.
Except for one. There's one weekend in September I won't be gone.
Very cool.
So it's going to be fun. Yep.
I'm excited to see your race. I think you're fit. I think you're ready.
I better be ready. Yeah, there was a lot of work that went into this one. So
yeah.
When's that race again?
First one's going to be Santa Cruz on September 11th, and then the second to last weekend of September will be Augusta, Georgia.
Cool. Yep. Good luck.
Yeah, it's kind of back to back then.
Pretty much.
The Augusta trip will be a big trip.
Yeah, it's just a long
flight. I mean, you could probably
Atlanta.
fly into Atlanta and then drive over. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Cool. Lance Hepler.
A couple big races happening this weekend. Our local cyclocross scene starts, which is kind of exciting.
exciting.
With Hetmere, so we already talked about that. And Rebecca's Private Idaho also happens this weekend. I am missing it for the first time in 4 years, I think. 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, that's your thing. That's your jam.
So, yeah, it's a very, very cool race. So, but I won't be there. But I've tried to get teammates to go with me for years, and now this year I'm not going, and Terry Hamness is going.
Come on, Terry.
God. So Terry's going. He's not doing the stage race. He's just doing the race on Sunday, which is the 100-mile gravel
Typical
race. Terry. So kind of excited.
Terry,
So good luck to him.
Go do a Telluride next year, Terry, and I'll give you this T-shirt.
He would smoke us.
Oh, but of course he would.
Yeah.
He'd be great at it. He'd get through that race and be like, "Why'd you not make it through?"
What is wrong with you?
Gotcha. Cool. All right. For the local people, my one last thing is going to be our very last and final for the year. Fog Hat Ride is this Friday, so it'll be our social Fog Hat Ride, slow ride, take it easy, have fun.
The kids are all starting school this week.
Yeah, my kids went back to school this morning.
First day of school.
Oh, it was
First
today?
day of school today.
Yeah, chasing them all out the door and kicking them in the butt and saying, "Have a good day at school."
There
and
you go make some money.
My poor dog was like,
"Go, come on, Dash! It's time to start pulling your weight."
Come
around
on,
here."
Dash.
my dog needs some uppers. He's pretty depressed. He's laying on the stairs
Everybody
all
left
mopey.
everyone. Yeah,
Where is everybody?
He left.
Pepper didn't care.
Yep. So we've got that Fog Hat Ride coming up, and then Thursday we have our second to last flogging ride. So if you want to come out and have some fun with us, that'd be great. It'd be also fantastic if Clark County wasn't dumping sand in hot turns and causing people to go down. That was pretty crappy. So
man,
they're 1 week.
When are we starting up the Zwift rides? Speaking of Zwift, do we know?
We're not going to talk about that.
Oh, we're not going to talk about that.
Not on the schedule yet.
That's probably
Has not been decided.
I just got
November.
daggers looking at me.
It's
Way
still
too
summer,
early.
damn it. To answer your question, it's usually the middle of October. It's usually when we get started.
soon.
I'm willing to be the leader of a juniors crew.
Ooh.
Yes, me or Cassie. Yes,
That would be fantastic.
yeah.
Cool. All right, we do appreciate everybody listening. We will be back next week with another one. And until then, bye for now.